Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for part 2 of the decent to good movies of 2020 video and this end of the year video, of course. And sorry that I did say that I was doing it this morning or whatever. It's actually afternoon where I'm at, and I kind of slept in for a little while because I had to do laundry last night up to 1 or 2 a.m. So I was up for a little while last night. But I'm going to discuss from 14 to whatever number I get to, which movies are on the list for part 2, and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's continue with where I left off, which at number 14 we have Unhinged. Now this stars Russell Crowe in this movie, and I gotta say, it's not a bad movie. It's average. It didn't execute very well, but it's just this guy that's Russell Crowe or whatever that plays as this truck guy or whatever that's stalking this woman and saying, "Oh, you're gonna find out what a bad day really is," or whatever is what he says, and he's like a crazy loon and killing people and other things like that, and just it was a roller coaster ride of a movie, but it wasn't bad. It ended where, if you've seen the movie, you know that this character does die. uh I can't tell you which character because that would spoil the movie if you haven't seen it. But yeah, there's some people that have seen it and some people that didn't see it, but it's been out for a few months. But yeah, at number 14 we have Unhinged. Number 13 we have The Old Guard. This stars what's her name? Crap, I can't remember. I know her name, but you'll have to remind me in the comment section below because she played in Fast and Furious 8 and all that as one of the villains. Charlize Theron, that's who it is. Yeah, Charlize Theron was really good in this movie. It just clicked at me at the last moment, and I'm sorry that I tilted the camera a little bit. I've been tilting the camera since the last video, so I really am sorry for doing that. I might have screwed up on that last video, but yeah, Charlize Theron played as this immortal person that was around since the 1100s and 1200s, all that. So around that kind of time, but yeah, it's not a bad movie. Didn't execute too well, and the guy that played Dudley was in this movie from Harry Potter. He plays as a villain, and he played a good role. He lost a lot of weight, to be honest. I'm like, damn, like that's pretty impressive. Um, but overall, I think The Old Guard was a pretty solid movie. Uh, I do like the plot and where it's going. It was a little lengthy of a movie, but it was worth watching. And I highly recommend you guys watch this if you have Netflix, because it doesn't disappoint you. So at number 13, we have The Old Guard. This was probably one of my favorite average movies that came out this year. Um, but yeah. So at number 12, we have Freaky. This one wasn't so bad. The concept was kind of similar to Freaky Friday, but in a different way it was, where Catherine Newton plays as the killer, and Catherine Newton herself, her a Swedish side character plays as Vince Vaughn. So they switch bodies or whatever. Like their souls go into different bodies or something like that. And Vince Vaughn is kind of funny in most of this movie until uh, he gets his body back or whatever, and then he becomes the butcher killer or whatever. But yeah, this movie wasn't so bad. It's kind of gross for most of the movie and pretty gory for most of it. But for what it is, there was some comedy in it, but not as much. It was just mostly like a Halloween to scare you kind of movie, but overall, I didn't think Freaky was a bad movie. So at number 12, we had Freaky. Number 11, we have Enola Holmes. Now, this one wasn't so bad. I didn't hate this movie as much. I would have picked Extraction for number 11, but it's going to be at a certain number pretty soon. Enola Holmes wasn't bad. It's kind of a mystery movie, so I don't hate those kinds of movies. She's like the sister to Sherlock Holmes in this movie, and Millie Bobby Brown plays as Enola Holmes, and she did a pretty good job playing in this movie. I actually like her in Stranger Things, but for this role she didn't do so bad. And she's played in other movies, but I didn't like her in the Godzilla movie, to be honest. That's where things just didn't work out with her in that movie. And unfortunately, she's going to be in the new Godzilla vs. Kong. So, yeah. But at number 11, we have Enola Holmes. Actually, what's his name? Henry Cavill was playing as Sherlock Holmes in this movie, and he did pretty good too, playing as her. And the other brother that was a Holmes brother or whatever, that was in charge of Enola Holmes's what's best for her and all that, and where she goes to school and all that. It's not so bad. So, like I said, at number 11, we had Enola Holmes. Number 10, we have The High Note. So, we're finally in the top 10 now. Yeah, The High Note was not a bad one. What's her name? Dakota Johnson. Yeah, I think that's what her name is. She plays as this music, kind of radio person or whatever, or a sponsor for, or something like that. I can't remember what. Sorry that I tilted the camera again. I have been doing that most of this early afternoon and all that. I do not know why. But yeah, The High Note was pretty good. Not my favorite, but it's an average movie. It didn't do too bad, and I would see myself watching it again. So at number 10, we have The High Note. I kind of have to breeze through it a little quickly so I can get as much done as I can and get the rest done in the next video. So at number 9, we have Extraction. Finally, I get to say Extraction. Extraction stars Chris Hemsworth in this movie, and it's not so bad. I personally thought most of this movie was pretty good. If you did see it on Netflix, you know that he dies at the end, which is kind of sad because I really liked his character, Chris Hemsworth's character, and he was pretty much trying to get this kid to safety so he could be extracted to the U.S. to live a better life. And yeah, it's not so bad of a movie. So at number 9, we have Extraction. I like the action scenes in that movie. Those were pretty dope. And that's the one thing I forgot to mention, so I'm sorry that I ended talking about it. At number 8, we have The King of Staten Island. Now, this one surprisingly made it in my top 10, which I'm really surprised. This one was actually not a bad movie. It was a little lengthy. It's about Pete Davidson's kind of true story, I guess you could say. It's based on true events. I think. I do not know. Only Pete Davidson knows. I think some things were a little exaggerated in this movie, but it seemed like it was a little exaggerated, but I'm not sure. Uh, he later on in life becomes a comedian, which I like Pete Davidson in SNL. He's pretty funny. Uh, and Colin Jost and Michael Che are pretty funny too in SNL as well. So, uh, yeah, um, just most of the movie, it was showing. I like the one scene where he tries to give this kid a tattoo. Sorry that I tilted the camera again. I have been doing that lately. I do not know why. Yeah, he gives this kid a tattoo, and then he said yes to it, and then he's like, no, I don't want it. And I'm like, oh my god. This is funny. So at number 8, we have The King of Staten Island. Number 7, we have Greyhound. Now, Tom Hanks played a pretty good, I wouldn't say pilot. I would say like a good captain for this movie. Uh, yeah, he's a captain of this ship called the Greyhound, and this is like during the World War II movie, I think, or II event that happened back in 1940s and all that, and it's based on some true events, I believe. It's based on a true story, I believe. It is on Apple TV, so that's the only way you can watch it, or you can find it online. That's how I watched it, because I don't have Apple TV. I don't use Apple that much. I'm an Android person. I don't use iPhones or Apple and music or anything like that, or iTunes. But yeah, uh, Greyhound was a pretty average movie. It's probably one of the best average movies I've seen this year. So at number 7, we had Greyhound. Number 6, we have the one and only Ivan. This one is probably going to be the last one I'll talk about. Then I got to close out this video for part 2. Yeah, this one wasn't a bad movie. Ivan's like this pretty intelligent monkey or gorilla, I meant to say. And he's not so bad. The character that plays Ivan did pretty good. The actor that played as Ivan, he voiced over Ivan. He didn't actually dress up in a gorilla suit or whatever. I don't know for sure how uh it was backstage for the movie and the production of it. But for most of the movie, it didn't do so bad, and Bryan Cranston played as the trainer for Ivan, and yeah, Ivan got his freedom towards the end of the movie. It is on Disney Plus if you want to watch it. So, yeah, it's a good movie. It's not terrible, so I highly recommend you watch it. It's not a bad movie. That is going to be it for part 2 of the Decent to Good Movies of 2020 video. I'll have to return to you for the final part for the last 5 good movies, because we're going to be going into the good movies now in the next part. There was a lot of average movies, pretty much. So, yeah, I finally got done with part 2. And, yeah, I hope you enjoyed part 2 of Decent to Good Movies of 2020 end of the year video. Definitely stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in part 3 pretty soon for Decent to Good Movies of 2020 end of the year video.